Earlier today, I got chastised a little bit over on Twitter. Before I get into that, I put out something on Twitter earlier today, letting everyone know what my situation's been. Why have I not been on any of the Friday night shows with Big Talk, Little Talk? But I have been doing Sunday shows with Reed Coverdale, the naturalist capitalist David Spurrier, host of Liberty First. I'm having a hard time keeping up with all his name changes. But he's a great guy. He makes great content. Love doing videos with the guy. No, I have not decided that I no longer want to do Israel's videos. That's not what's going on here. Fact is, I'm a blue collar guy. And right now, I don't make income from doing YouTube videos. This is a hobby. This is something I do in my personal time. And right now, my income comes from my job. And at one point, it was 40 hours a week. But we've lost some folks. A couple left, and a couple more got fired. And in the meantime, right now, I still need a good handful of people on my crew. So I've been working 60-plus hours a week pulling overtime. Now, the good news is, I've got one in training this week. Was supposed to have two, except the second one wound up not working out very well. So I've got one that's in training this week. If all goes well and they are ready to go after training, then I'll probably be able to avoid the overtime because we'll have enough people to run at our bare minimum at that point. We'll still need to get some more, so I'll still be kind of right on the razor's edge. Things could be okay, and then if someone else were to leave, I could be right back in the same mess. Or if this person doesn't work out, still could be there. So not going to count chickens before they hatch here. Don't really know what's going to go on. But for those of you who've been wondering why you haven't seen very much out of me, that is why. Okay. That being said, I still want to try to at least drop about one a week. And I wasn't able to get to one Monday through Friday last week, so I'm getting to it today. I've found myself during the weeks just arguing with myself, what should I talk about? Because I hear about a lot of different things throughout the week. I'm like, oh, maybe I should do the video on that one. And then something always happens, and I'm like, well, which one should I do the video on? So I tell you what I'm going to start doing until I get to where I got a better recording schedule. I'm going to start putting out little things on Twitter, okay? So if you watch the channel, you follow me over on Twitter, interact with me. I can make polls, or I can just put out a tweet and you reply to it with what you kind of want to see me talk about some during the week. I'll try to do that, and then if there's something else that I really want to talk about anyway, then I'll try to make a second one until I can get back to a more frequent recording schedule. But the one that got me today, back to where I started from, I was chastised on Twitter earlier today by someone who had joined into a group chat of the people who I communicate with in Twitter circles. Now, apparently, Sahil Habibi has some competition. See, because Sahil Habibi, YouTuber known as the Progressive Voice, I've talked about the guy in the past. I actually have a pretty, in my opinion, funny story regarding the guy about something that happened on Twitter one day. For those of you who've watched my channel long enough, you may or may not know what I'm talking about because I covered it last year. Okay? But Sahil just, he was a big Tulsi basher at the time when I supported Tulsi Gabbard. Not to say that I completely dislike Tulsi now, just not as confident as I used to be, but we're not going to go down that road. Nonetheless, okay, this guy's got competition. Because apparently, there is a new progressive voice. There is a new progressive voice. And this new progressive voice, honestly, sounds more neoliberal than the old one. Now, why do I say that? I don't know if any of you watch this guy's channel or not. But why do I say that? So, where I got chastised on Twitter today, here I am, coming home from work. Had to go in at really early this morning, okay? And I only had to do a half day today. So, I got off earlier than usual. with the overtime. I got to do a half day today. So I came home, was just getting ready to start yard work because, you know, blue collar guy's work is never done. You leave work busting your ass, and you got to come home in the South Carolina heat, even though we did have a cool down today. And now I've got grass to cut and weed eating to do and all that fun stuff, right? So I'm just about to get out there on the Cub Cadet and cut some grass, and my phone starts blowing up. And what I'm seeing is a guy who calls himself the New Progressive Voice proceeding to start telling me and a lot of other people who are involved in these messages, we sound very ill-informed for saying that Joe Biden and Donald Trump are pretty much the same. That there is a night and day difference between the two. I find that very ironic. So, is he right? I guess it depends on how you want to look at it. I guess it really does depend on how you want to look at it. What really stuck in my craw was that whole bullshit about, oh, you're ill-informed. Really? Really? Okay, now I checked his channel out. He's got a good amount of subscribers. Hey, he's got a hell of a lot more than this channel's got, so maybe he's doing something right. And considering he's pushing, 19,000 subscribers, you'd think he'd be doing very, very well, right? I mean, he's got a lot of subscribers for YouTube. Unfortunately, then I started doing a little more research. Let's examine this guy's content. Anyone who doesn't believe me, by the way, more than welcome to go check me on this. His most recent video pertains to explaining some of the positions of the Joe Biden platform. Economic and racial inequality, Biden's vision for America. So 19,000 subscribers, and the guy's racking in a whopping 122 views. Now, granted, it's only been a day, but his video from last week is only coming in at just over 300 views. Okay? Also, the one that was released yesterday, 9 likes, 4 dislikes. Now, I don't want to be too hypocritical here because, again, remember, YouTube's throttling people. They've throttled me. They've throttled many others. I'm sure maybe perhaps this guy's even said something that the YouTube overlords didn't like. Maybe they're throttling him too. But, my guy, do not come in here on your high horse and tell me that I am ill-informed because I don't believe there's a huge difference between how bad Joe Biden and Donald Trump are both going to screw the middle class. And when it comes to screwing the middle class, I think they're pretty much going to do the exact same thing, and that is screw us. Don't lecture me. Okay? Now, furthermore than that, he went on, and this is what really pissed me off. He threw an accusation when we talked about how Joe Biden really did no good. He threw an accusation out there pertaining to, privileged people basically say that, or something like that, right? I don't remember the exact words, and I can't get the message because I left the conversation on Twitter. But the implication that he was making was that, well, yeah, you're privileged, so of course you feel that way. I'm privileged. Really. See, people that are privileged would not only have the things I have, probably have a little bit more, wouldn't have to be busting their ass for it. Oh, privileged people might actually have health care too. They wouldn't have to, lock tight wounds shut in their hands because they can't afford to go to the doctor and get stitches, right? Or even if they could pay the bill later, don't really know how they're going to scrape that kind of thing up because I pretty much live budgeted. When things like that happen, it really hurts. And I'm not the kind of person that likes to go around borrowing money from folks. I was raised with a little bit of pride, and I don't like charity. Okay? It's not something that I want to partake in. I mean, maybe the day will come and I'll have no other choice, but it's not something that I want to just rush straight into. Okay? So, privileged? I'm privileged? Really? Here's my big takeaway. Okay, I know what I do for a living. So, if he were to come across this video, I challenge you, sir, since I'm the privileged one. It doesn't look like you got a huge viewer count, so I don't know how much money you're making from your YouTube channel, but you do have over 19,000 subscribers. You could be making money from your YouTube channel, being as how you're not getting all that many views. Even I have had videos that have kept up with some of yours. Even I've got videos that are in the thousands range. That the one in particular where I covered UK versus American healthcare, right? That's by far my most watched video. I still get comments on it to this day. Okay? So even I have touched some of your numbers in the viewer column. But at least you've got over the YouTube threshold to make money. So I don't know what your income is from the YouTube channel, but I would be very curious what kind of job you have outside of YouTube, and if you have one, how much money you're making a year. Because I listen to your videos. I listen to how you speak. I listen to that soft, kind of calm tone and the way you present yourself. Maybe I'm wrong, but you don't strike me like that blue-collar guy that's having to really bust his ass for a living. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I want you to prove me wrong. Seriously. Make a jackass out of me. Prove me wrong, man. If I'm dead wrong here and you prove me that way, then I will come on this channel, I will make a video, I'll send out a tweet, I'll apologize to you. Because if you are a hard-working guy who's really going out busting his ass over 40 hours a week, then I'm going to respect that. I might not like anything else about you, I'll respect that much. But I'm very curious, since I'm the privileged one, I want to know what you do for a living. See, here's why I won't support Joe Biden. Here's why I don't think Joe Biden is better than Trump. Here's why Joe Biden isn't better than Trump. Okay? I've watched Republicans and Democrats for years tear the middle class apart. They've ruined it. They've taken the blue-collar community and they have walked and stomped all over them. And while some folks like you are focusing more on the things like climate change and things like that, yeah, they're big issues, but it's not the one that hits the closest to home for me. You see, it's like this. We can't control what the rest of the world does when it comes to climate change anyway. We can't control what the Chinese do. Hell, we can't even get a good trade deal with the Chinese. We can't get them to give us a good deal on trade. How are we going to make them stop polluting? How are we going to make India stop polluting? How are we going to stop these things? And furthermore than that, if you talk about, oh, Joe Biden's going to fund the EPA and he's gonna reduce carbon emissions and he's going to make cars burn better gas mileage, you know, because that's what your last video was talking kind of about, right? Was what Joe Biden's going to do for the EPA. You know what else Joe Biden does for the climate? Dumbass. He drops bombs. Remember, it was the Obama administration who said we were getting out of war and took us into more war. More drone strikes, more missiles, more bombs. What does that do to the ecosystem? What does that do for climate change? You know how much that pollutes? A lot. But you're going to come out and you're going to lecture us, oh, no. Joe Biden's the man. He's the man. He's not as good as Bernie. He's not a Yang. He's not a Tulsi. He's not a Marianne Williamson. He's not even an Elizabeth Warren, but he's better. There's a night and day difference, good sir. How dare you, you dumb redneck. You're so ill-informed. Fuck you. Seriously. Take that egotistical superiority complex of yours and shove it up your ass, dude. Really? I'm privileged. And there's a night and day difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. See, to me, the only person who could say that statement and not be trolling is an ill-informed person or someone who has been privileged in a way where they live in a class above blue collar, maybe not millionaire, maybe not even making $100,000 a year, but you're definitely living comfortably somehow or another. That the actions of Joe Biden and the Democrats and the Republicans for the last 50 or so years, maybe even farther to some, they haven't been tearing the community around you down the way it has for a guy like me, that you're finally fed up with it and you're not going to cave into it anymore. Because I watched people in my family get their benefits cut. I watched them lose their pay. I watched them lose their retirement. I watched them lose their jobs. I've seen what Democrats and Republicans have done to the blue-collar middle class. I've been there. I witnessed it firsthand. I've witnessed it myself since I've been working. And it's terrible. It's abysmal. And they are not the way forward. Joe Biden sucks. And they're both, Trump and Biden, going to serve the donors. They're both going to serve the special interest groups. They're both going to do it. So cut the shit with all those, oh no, there's a big difference. And Joe Biden and Barack Obama, they got a lot of good done in 8 years. They're very good. And hey, I know they're both bought and paid for. I know they are. But Joe Biden said he's going to get us equality. Joe Biden said he's going to bring us some normalcy again. Joe Biden said he's going to fix Obamacare. Seriously? Get your fucking head out of your ass, man. They said they were going to end wars. Pull us out of Iraq. Pull us out of Afghanistan. How well did that go? Not only did we stay, and we kind of got out of Iraq at the end, but how'd that go? Didn't get out of Afghanistan. But 2 conflicts when they took office, 7 conflicts when they left. You got net gains in the war column, not losses, son. So, what did they do exactly? By the way, Joe Biden, not legalizing recreational marijuana. So he's going to keep the war on drugs going. Oh, and which president so far has actually done any kind of a good criminal justice reform? Wasn't Obama. It would be the orange blowhard we have right now. So if we're going to be honest, Trump's done more in that column than Obama or Biden. Something else, Obama ran he was going to get us out of Guantanamo Bay and close it down. That didn't happen either. Oh, and remember me talking about those blue-collar jobs being lost, right? Who was instrumental in pushing all that along? Who was instrumental in promoting free trade and all that from the Democrat side? Joe Biden and Barack Obama. They wanted another one right at the time they were leaving, right? The TPP. Now, don't even come, well, Trump still put it in place, too. Oh, wait a minute. I thought there was a 9-day difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So, if what you're telling me is that Trump still put something in place that Joe Biden was in favor of, and it was something that was terrible for blue-collar Americans from all over, I'm confused. I thought there was a difference between these two. Apparently not. Apparently Biden and Obama wanted something bad. Trump ran against it, but put it in place himself anyway. So like I said, they're both going to screw over the blue-collar middle class. Here's the good one. We were going to get health care. Good health care. That didn't work out very well either now, did it? And what's Joe Biden's grand plan? Restore Obamacare and create a public option. Well, we've hashed through how that would turn out many times. And it ain't going to be good. So, yeah. That whole moral superiority of yours, that Joe Biden's his better choice guys like myself are privileged and ill-informed. First of all, I want you to prove to me how I am more privileged than you. Prove that to me first. Then we can actually have that conversation. But as far as you on your gloating high horse, because you're going to go vote for good old Uncle Joe, as we so eloquently say in South Carolina, you can stick that shit where the sun don't shine.